Hello and welcome to day 203 of our chronological Bible year reading plan. And today we have Isaiah 28, 29, and 30. Isaiah 28. Woe to the proud crown of the drunkards of Ephraim, and to the fading flower of its splendid comeliness that is on the head of the fertile valley, to those who are overcome with wine. See, Yahuwah has one who is mighty and strong, like a downpour of hail and a destroying storm, like a flood of mighty waters overflowing, who cast down to the earth with the hand. The proud crown of the drunkards of Ephraim is trampled underfoot, and the fading flower of its splendid comeliness that is on the head of the fertile valley, like the first fruit before the summer, which, when one sees it, he eats it up while it is still in his hand. In that day Yahuwah of hosts is for a crown of splendor, and a headdress of comeliness to the remnant of his people, and a spirit of right ruling to him who sits in right ruling, and strength to those who turn back the battle at the gate. And these two have gone astray through wine, and through strong drink wandered about. Kohen, which means priest, and Nabi, which means prophet, have gone astray through strong drink. They are swallowed up by wine, they wander about through strong drink, they go astray in vision, and they stumble in right ruling. For all tables shall be covered with vomit, no place without filth. Whom would he teach knowledge, and whom would he make to understand the message? Those weaned from milk, those taken from the breasts. For it is command upon command, command upon command, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little. For with a jabbering lip and a foreign tongue he speaks to this people, to whom he said, This is the rest, give rest to the weary. And this is the refreshing, but they would not hear. But the word of Yahuwah was to them, command upon command, command upon command, line upon line upon line, here a little, there a little. So that they go and shall stumble backward, and be broken and snared and taken captive. Therefore hear the word of Yahuwah, you men of scorn, who rule this people who are in Jerusalem. Because you have said, We have made a covenant with death, and with the grave we have effected a vision. When the overflowing scourge passes through, it does not come to us, for we have made lying our refuge, and under falsehood we have hidden ourselves. Therefore thus said the Adon Yahuwah, which means the Master Yahuwah. See, I am laying in Zion a stone for a foundation, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a settled foundation. He who trusts shall not hasten away. And I shall make right ruling the measuring line, and righteousness the plummet. And the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lying, and the waters overflow the hiding place. And your covenant with death shall be annulled, and your vision with the grave not stand. When an overflowing scourge passes through, then you shall be trampled down by it. As often as it passes through, it shall take you, for it shall pass through every morning, and by day and by night. And it shall be only trembling to understand the message. For the bed shall be too short for a man to stretch out on, and the covering shall be too narrow to wrap himself in it. For Yahuwah rises up as at Mount Perazim, and he is wroth as at the valley of Gabon, to do his work, his strange work, and to do his deed, his strange deed. And now, do not be scoffers, lest your bonds be made strong. For I have heard from the Adon Yahuwah of hosts, a destruction decreed upon all the earth. Give ear and hear my voice. Listen and hear my word. Does the plowman keep plowing all day to sow? Does he keep turning his soil and breaking the clods? When he has leveled its surface, does he not sow the caraway and scatter the cumin, plant the wheat in rows, the barley in the appointed place, for the spelt in its place? For he instructs him for right ruling. His Elohim teaches him. For caraway is not threshed with a threshing sledge, nor is a wagon wheel rolled over cumin, but caraway is beaten out with a stick, and cumin with a rod. Grain is crushed, so one does not go on threshing it forever, nor break it with his wagon wheel, nor crush it with his horsemen. Even this has come from Yahuwah of hosts, who did wonders in counsel, who made wisdom great. Chapter 29. Woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt. And year to year let festivals come around. And I shall distress Ariel, and there shall be mourning and sorrow, and it shall be to me as Ariel. And I shall encamp against you all around, I shall lay siege against you with a mound, and I shall raise siege works against you. And you shall be brought low and speak out of the ground, and your speech shall be low out of the dust. And your voice shall be like a medium's out of the ground, and your speech whisper out of the dust. But the crowd of those strange to you shall be like fine dust, and the crowd of the ruthless ones as chaff blowing away. And it shall be in an instant, suddenly. You shall be visited by Yahuwah of hosts with thunder and earthquake and great noise, with whirlwind and storm and flame of devouring fire. Then the crowd of all the Gentiles who fight against Ariel, even all who fight against her and her stronghold and distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. And it shall be as when a hungry man dreams, and see he eats, but he awakes, and his being is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreams, and see he drinks, but he awakes, and see he is faint, and his being is longing. Thus shall the crowd of all the Gentiles be who fight against Mount Zion. Pause and wonder. Blind yourselves and be blind. They are drunk, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For Yahuwah has poured out on you the spirit of deep sleep, and has closed your eyes, the Nebaim. For he has covered your heads, the seers. And the entire vision is to you like the words of a book that is sealed, which men give to one who knows books, saying, Read this, please. And he said, I am unable, for it is sealed. And the book is given to one who does not know books, saying, Read this, please. And he said, I have not known books. And Yahuwah says, Because this people has drawn near with its mouth, and with its lips they have esteemed me, and it has kept its heart far from me, and their reverence of me has become a command of men that is taught. Therefore, see, I am again doing a marvelous work among this people, a marvelous work and a wonder. And the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their clever men shall be hidden. Woe to those who seek deep to hide their counsel far from Yahuwah, and their works are in the dark. They say, Who sees us, and who knows us? How perverse of you! Should the potter be reckoned as the clay? Should what is made say to its maker, He did not make me? And what is formed say of him who formed it, He did not understand? Is it not yet a little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into garden land, and garden land be reckoned as a forest? And in that day the deaf shall hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of gloom and out of darkness. And the meek ones shall increase their joy in Yahuwah, and the poor among men rejoice in the Kadosh one of Israel, the Holy One of Israel. For the ruthless one is brought to naught, the scorner is consumed, and all who watch for evil shall be cut off. Those who make a man to sin in word, and lay a snare for him who reproves in the gate, and turn aside the righteous with emptiness. Therefore thus said Yahuwah, who ransomed Abraham, concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob is no longer put to shame, no longer does his face grow pale. For when he sees his children, the work of my hands, in his midst they shall kadosh my name, which means set apart my name. And kadosh, the kadosh one of Jacob, and revere the Elohim of Israel. And those who went astray in spirit shall come to understanding, and the grumblers accept instruction. Chapter 30. Woe to the stubborn children, declares Yahuwah, to make counsel but not from me, and to devise plans but not of my ruah, again my spirit, in order to add sin to sin, who are walking to go down to Mitzrayim, and have not asked my mouth to be strengthened in the strength of Pharaoh, and to seek refuge in the shadow of Mitzrayim. And the strength of Pharaoh shall become your shame, and the refuge in the shadow of Mitzrayim your confusion. For his princes were at Zoan, and his messengers came to Hanes. Hanes. I don't know. They were all ashamed of a people who did not profit them, not for help or profit, but a shame and also a reproach. The message concerning the beasts of the Negeb. Through a land of trouble and distress, from which came the lioness and lion, the adder and fiery flying serpent, they convey their riches on the backs of young donkeys, and their treasures on the humps of camels, to an unprofitable people. Even Mitzrayim, whose help is vain and empty. Therefore, I have called her Rahab Hemshebeth, and go, write it before them on a tablet, and inscribe it on a scroll, that it is for a latter day, a witness forever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children who refuse to hear the Torah of Yahuwah, who say to the seers, do not see, and to the Nebaim, do not neba to us what is right, speak to us what is smooth, naba deceits. Turn aside from the way, swerve from the path, cause the Kadosh One of Israel to cease from before us. Therefore thus said the Kadosh One of Israel, because you despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and rely on them, therefore this wickedness is to you like a breach ready to fall, a bulge in a high wall, whose breaking comes suddenly and swiftly. And he shall break it like the breaking of the potter's vessel, which is broken in pieces, without sparing, so that there is not found among its fragments a sherd to take fire from the hearth, or to take water from the cistern. For thus said the Adon Yahuwah, the Kadosh One of Yisrael, in returning and rest you are saved, and stillness and trust is your strength. But you would not, and you said, no, for we flee upon horses, therefore you flee. And we ride on swift horses, therefore those who pursue you are swift. 1,000 at the rebuke of one, at the rebuke of 5 you shall flee until you are left as a pole on top of a mountain and as a sign on a hill. And therefore Yahuwah shall wait to show you favor, and therefore he shall be exalted, to have compassion on you. For Yahuwah is an Elohim of right ruling. Baruch, which means blessed, are all those who wait for him. For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem, you shall weep no more. He shall show much favor to you at the sound of your cry. When he hears, he shall answer you. Though Yahuwah gave you bread of adversity and water of affliction, your teacher shall no longer be hidden. But your eyes shall see your teacher, and your ears hear a word behind you, saying, this is the way, walk in it, whenever you turn to the right or whenever you turn to the left. And you shall defile the covering of your graven images of silver, and the plating of your molded images of gold. You shall throw them away as a minstrel cloth, and say to them, be gone. And he shall give the rain for your seed with which you sow the ground, and bread of the increase of the earth. And it shall be fat and rich, your cattle grazing in an enlarged pasture in that day. When the oxen and the young donkeys that work the ground eat seasoned fodder, winnowed with shovel and fan. And on every high mountain and on every high hill there shall be rivers and streams of water, in the day of great killing, when the towers fall. And the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun be sevenfold, as the light of 7 days, in the day that Yahuwah binds up the breach of his people, and heals the wound of his blows. See, the name of Yahuwah is coming from afar, burning with his wrath and heavy smoke. His lips shall be filled with rage, and his tongue be as a devouring fire. And his breath shall be as an overflowing stream, which reaches up to the neck, to sift the nations with a sieve of falsehood, and a misleading bridle on the jaws of the peoples. Let the song be to you as in a night, kadosh for a festival, and gladness of heart as he who is going with a flute, to come into the mountain of Yahuwah, to the rock of Yisrael. And Yahuwah shall cause his excellent voice to be heard, and show the coming down of his arm, with raging wrath and the flame of a consuming fire, with scattering, downpour, and hailstones. For through the voice of Yahuwah Ashur is broken down, with a rod he smites. And every passage of the ordained staff which Yahuwah lays on him shall be with tambourines and lyres, when he shall fight with it, battling with a brandishing arm. For Topheth was ordained of old, even for the sovereign it has been prepared. He has made it deep and large, its fire pit with much wood. The breath of Yahuwah, as a stream of burning sulfur, is burning in it. And that concludes our reading for today. As always, thank you for joining, and I hope you're reading along. And I encourage you to read for yourself. And peace and blessings and love to you. See you in the next one.